How many times have you mulled over your past decisions, either internally or verbally externally? Most often, we do the former, as thoughts regarding the outcomes of our past decisions take us on a range of emotions. Typically, we assess whether or not we've made a good decision based on the outcome of that decision. If things turned out favorably for us, then we automatically say it was a great decision. On the other hand, if they don't, we immediately say that it was a bad decision. We beat ourselves up about how we could have done a better job of making that decision as we think about alternate outcomes and scenarios in our heads regarding those previously made decisions. But is this a healthy and just way to examine our capacity to make decisions? Can we follow this methodology in every scenario? Lately, I've been encouraged to challenge this former way of decision analysis. One day I was listening to an investment real estate podcast, and they had a guest speaker on by the name of Annie Duke. Annie is a four-time World Series poker champion who's won over $4 million worth of tournament prizes. In addition to being a champion poker player, she has a PhD in psychology from the University of Pennsylvania. Her experiences in both fields have shaped her concept of decision making, particularly on the poker side. As a result of her shared experiences in both psychology and the game of poker, she's written a book called Thinking in Bets. In this book, she journeys us through this concept she calls resulting. She says that oftentimes she would try and study the previous hands of poker that she played to see how she could have played that hand better. But the more she did this, the more she realized that it was not a clearly revealed science. You see, unlike football or chess, where the players and pieces of the game are openly displayed for all opponents to see, the game of poker has a high level of concealment working amongst the players and the table, much like life. She began to realize that while she may have won that hand in poker, that it didn't automatically mean that she played that winning hand executing the best decisions. The reverse goes the same for the hands she lost. She may have played her hand well, exercising good decisions, but still lost the game. But she wouldn't know that she made the best sequence of decisions during the game just by assessing the outcome, which was the loss. After hearing her detail her revelation of this, I was moved to begin using this same outlook for myself. Now, I would not fully ascribe to this approach in every situation because there are some decisions that we make that are not opaque. It is clear we should not make that decision. For example, the other day I was driving by a liquor store and the tall marketing signage had the phrase, "Just because it's a bad idea doesn't mean it won't be a good time." Now, to me, there entices to make bad choices for the sake of making memories while drunk is not the best decision. However, I do realize others may feel differently. But if we switch gears and talk about the more fluid and gray outcomes, I see where this could be a healthy approach to look at things. Not only does it create a space for you to give yourself more grace, but it is a way to appreciate the outcomes of the decision that was taken. For example, say you move to another state or country because you're wanting to try something new, and based on your research, or maybe even lack thereof, you think it's a pretty good decision, and so you give it a shot. So you pack up, get there, and start doing life. Then, as time goes by, you see that you don't like the place or things aren't what you hoped they'd be. Of course, your first reaction is to curse yourself and say something like, "Geez, goodness gracious, I'm so stupid. Why did I make this bad decision to come here?" This is where I think the concept of resulting should kick in. If we use this method, we can appreciate the risk without automatically denouncing the decision as a bad one. We can assess the decision as just that, a decision, in its most neutral state. Putting too much emphasis on whether or not it was good or bad will only work counterproductively in our lives and often stagnate us. It can stifle us to trust ourselves to make future decisions because we're scared that it'll be a bad decision. But when we succinctly understand the mental behaviors of resulting, we can then move ourselves into a healthier space of sound decision making and assessment of those decisions. For more content and to download copies of my ebooks, go to simplelifeconversations.blog. That's simplelifeconversations.blog. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast channel to get the latest episode of Conversation Starters.